Good evening, good evening, good evening, my brothers and sisters. How are you doing this beautiful evening? Your brother Tony is in the house and it is dinner time. Come on in, sit down. The table is set for you, my brother, and for you, my sister, to get some of this good soul food tonight. And you know that I will serve it up real hot and ready for you. So come on in. I hope that you all are ready to consume this good soul food because it's going to be good for you, my brothers and sisters. I hope that you all had a very nice day because your brother Tony, he had an excellent, blessed day with a twist of serenity. So come on in, come on in. And I want you brothers and sisters to enjoy this particular show this evening that we're going to talk about. How you doing, Sister Flo Harvey Martin? I see that Sister Flo had came in and sat at the dinner table. How you doing? How you doing? Come on in, my brothers and sisters. We're going to give a few more of you an opportunity to come in so we can get to the content tonight. And when I talk about how you doing, Sister Deborah Scott? Welcome to tonight's dinner table. For those of you that are coming in, I want you to be aware of this. I'm talking on two different platforms. I'm talking on the book and I'm talking on YouTube. Sometimes when I see comments from people from the book, I will address some of them, and sometimes I will talk to people on the tube and I will comment to them. So I want you all to realize this. When I call out names and stuff, you may not see the name because they're probably on a different platform. So I want you all to be aware of that because I'm talking on two different platforms. How you doing, Sister Twyla Robertson? Welcome to tonight's dinner table. How you doing, Israel? How you doing? Israel said, I just gave up a relationship. I'm a good man, and I just don't like dealing with a toxic woman who has not healed. All right, Mr. Israel, we're about to talk about this tonight. I'm glad you said that, brothers, because we are going to get into it tonight. And I want you, sister, to be aware of this. I'm in no way about to criticize you sisters, okay? But what I'm going to talk to you about is very imperative that you understand what I'm talking about. This particular broadcast is basically geared to some of my single brother and more certainly a lot of my single sisters, okay? If you want to be in a serious, committed, and covenant relationship, this meal that I'm about to serve at tonight's dinner table, you need to get all this good soul food in. And some of you brothers, I want you to get some of this good soul food in too. If this is your first time looking at this particular broadcast, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Tony M. Toomer, and I talk about relationships. I talk about relationship basically from a biblical point of view. What do I mean by a biblical point of view? I believe strongly that God created the man Adam first. Secondly, he created the woman Eve. Thirdly, he represented the woman Eve to the man Adam. Fourth, the man Adam said in the presence of God, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, I should call a woman because she came from man. That's the position I come from. Now, if you're at this dinner table, some of you friends, if you don't believe in the concept of God created the man and the woman to be in a relationship together, you have what is called a free will. You can do whatever you choose to do, but I encourage you to take some of this good soul food. And when I talk about it, basically biblical, how God created the man and created the woman at the dawn of creation for a relationship. So that's where I come from, okay? Now, with that said, on tonight's menu, we're going to talk about 25 reasons why a good man loses interest in a woman. Listen carefully. 25 reasons why a good man, it's a good man, loses interest in a woman. So I'm going to talk more about the good man, but I'm going to make a point. Now, let me tell you this, my brother and sister. What do the men of this world desire the most? When I say men of this world, I'm not talking about my brothers. When I say my brothers, I'm not talking about my brothers that are following Christ. I'm not talking to you about you all. I'm talking about the men of the world. And you, sister, you need to be aware of this when I talk about the men of the world. Now, Men that adopt this particular philosophy, I know you all have heard of the term called a high value man, right? A lot of you have heard of that, the high value man. Now, a high value man, my brothers and sisters, is a man that take on a worldly point of view. Okay, this is not a son of God. A high value man is a man that is focused on worldly things. What do I mean by that? High value men, they normally promote money, they promote assets, they promote power, they promote position, and etc. However, Jesus got another viewpoint when it comes to a man. Jesus does not talk about high value man. Jesus talk about men that are going to follow him to become the sons of God. So Jesus don't talk about high value men. You know why? Because this is Jesus' viewpoint of a high value man. And this for you sisters that are waiting for a man. Do not wait for a high value man. You should wait for a spiritual man, not a high value man. Now we're going to go to Luke chapter 12, 15. Again, it's Luke chapter 12, 15. Luke chapter 12, 15. Jesus is doing the talking. Jesus said, and he said unto them, take heed and beware of covetousness or covenants, for a man's life consists not in the abundance of things which he possessed. Now listen to what Jesus said. Jesus said a man's life does not consist of the things, of the abundance of things which he possess. So Jesus saying, if a man have money, if a man have asset, if a man have power, if a man have position, etc., that's not the most important thing of life. That's the most important thing of life for men of this world, but not for men that follow the Lord. Therefore, a woman should be waiting for a man who is about the Lord, and a woman should concentrate on a man for who he is, but not for what he has. Because whatever a man has, he can lose it in a short period of time. So it's more important, sister, when a man comes to you, you have to identify whether or not this man is, one, a worldly man, or two, a spiritual man. Now, you're going to hear me say this throughout the broadcast, sister. How can you hold a man's interest? Now, we just got finished talking about worldly men and what they're about. Now, how can you hold the interest of a spiritual man? And when I say a good man, that's basically what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a man that is led by the Spirit of God. Now, we're going to go to God's word again. As it is written, how you doing, Sister Monica Kim? Monica Kim coming in to the dinner table tonight. How you doing, sister? It said, as it is written in Ecclesiastes 26:14. Ecclesiastes 26:14. Ecclesiastes 26:14. It say, a silent and loving woman is a gift of the Lord, and there is nothing so much as mind well instruct. So listen to me again. The Bible clearly say again in Ecclesiastes 26:14, it say a silent and a loving woman is a gift of the Lord. So when a man or son of God is ready for a woman, God is going to bring a woman that's silent and a loving woman. When it says silent, it doesn't mean that a woman cannot say anything. It doesn't mean that. It means a woman that is self-composed, one that is well respected, one when she talks, she's talked with wisdom. She just don't talk with empty words. Whenever a spiritual woman talks, she has power. So that is what it's basically talking about. A spiritual woman, she's very careful of how she moves and what she say. Now, how can she hold a man's interest? When we say a man's interest, again, we're talking about a spiritual man. Now, this is a key statement that I'm about to make. What type of woman are you, sister? You got to understand, sister, what type of woman are you? That's the very first thing you got to ask yourself. What type of woman are you? And we're going back to Ecclesiastes 26:23. Ecclesiastes 26:23. Ecclesiastes 26:23. Why did I ask you, sister, what type of woman you are? This is why I say it. According to God's word, it said a wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man, but a godly woman is given to him that fears the Lord or respect the Lord. So, sister, it's all on the woman, what type of woman she is. If this woman wants to be positioned by God for a man of God to find her. And you see, God is the one that does the shuffling behind the scenes. God will use Satan to bring a wicked woman to a wicked man. They said opposite attract. No, it's not about opposite attract. It's about compatibility. So when you look, now a classic scene is Jezebel and King Ahab. You had a wicked woman, Jezebel. You are familiar with her, and you had her husband was a wicked man. So the Bible clearly say a wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man, and those are the poster. That's the poster cover of a wicked man and a wicked woman, Jezebel and her husband Ahab. And 9 it said, but a godly woman is given to him that fears the Lord. And what is the one prime example of a woman, a godly woman? And we're going to go to the default. The default is Ruth and Boaz. So we have Ruth and Boaz on the right side, and we have Jezebel and Ahab on the left side. Wicked man, wicked woman, godly man. So God is the one that a godly woman is given to him that fears the Lord. So in order, brothers, if you're listening to me, brother, in order for God to bring you into position to find a woman, called God does all the lead work, you, brother, you have to have a solid and strong relationship with God through his son, Jesus Christ, if you desire to have a good woman. Now, if you're not all in with God, God is not going to bring you his best, because when God brings a woman to a man, he brings one of his daughters to one of his sons. That's how God does it. He brings one of his daughters to one of his sons. Now, the topic again, for those of you that are coming into the dinner table, 25 reasons why a good man loses interest in a woman. 25 reasons why a good man loses interest in a woman. How you doing, my little sister Renee? Welcome to the dinner table. Now, we're about to hit this. Now, keep this in mind. We're going back to God's word again. In 1 Corinthians 11:9, 1 Corinthians 11:9, 1 Corinthians 11:9, keep in mind the topic, why a good man loses interest in a woman. 25 reasons. But why does a good man? That's the key phrase. Why does a good man lose interest? Now, when we go to God's word, 1 Corinthians 11:9, 1 Corinthians 11:9, 1 Corinthians 11:9, it said, and the man was not made for the woman, but the woman was made for the man. Listen to me carefully again. According to God's word, it said a man was not made for a woman, but a woman was made for a man. That is, sister. The Bible clearly tells you why you was created. How you doing, sister Greta Campbell? It say that a man was not made for a woman, but a woman was made for a man. So if God's word said that a man was not made for a woman, but a woman was made for a man, what does that tell you? How you doing, sister Ingrid? What that tells you, sister, is what the number one thing that we're about to hit right now. Don't contribute to a woman that doesn't contribute to a relationship. She is a liability, not an asset to a man. A godly man is not going to chase a woman. If a godly man has to chase a woman, he's going to lose interest in that woman. Because it goes back to this phrase in God's word, 1 Corinthians 11:9 said, and the man was not made for the woman, but the woman was made for a man. So a godly man, he have to like rub his chin and say, how can I utilize this woman with my purpose in life as I follow God? This is what a good man be thinking about when a woman comes before him. So he was not. So I know a lot of sisters, a lot of you all was raised on playing hard to get, letting the man run after you and all that kind of stuff. How you doing, Sister Terry? Terry said, that's why online dating doesn't work for women. I get it now. Amen, sister. So let me tell you, godly men will not participate on pursuing or chasing a woman. A godly man waits for God to intervene into his life and present the woman to him. So he's not going to run after no woman. He's not going to run after no woman. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you this, my brother and sister. How you doing, Sister Arthur Angela? I know I'm not all that in a bag of chips. I already know that. But there's not one. I'm 60 years old. But there's not one woman in my past that could say that Tony ran after me. Not one. Now, they might say he was interested in me, but there's not one woman that could say I blew up her phone. We could talk about right now. Before I met my wife, Cinderella, there's not one woman that could say I blew up her phone. When technology got advanced, there's not one woman that could say I text her to death. There's not one woman that say that I emailed her to death. No, 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 no. And godly men do not run after women. How you doing, Sister Bray? I thought men supposed to approach a woman. Okay. Men don't approach a woman. Worldly men approach a woman. But let me tell you about godly men. Godly men, sister, wait for God to position the woman for the man to have conversation with her. He let God does the bringing. God brings that woman into a man's view. And then when God brings the woman to the man's view, then the man will conversate with the woman. For example, when God brought Eve to Adam, Adam started talking. Eve did not start talking. Adam started talking. When Rebecca was brought to Isaac, Abraham's son, she got off the camel and she approached him, and they went into his mother Sarah's tent. When Ruth started working on Boaz's property, Boaz was doing the talking. He was inquiring about Ruth. Godly men wait for God to position a woman to be approached. Godly men never run after women. Godly men allow God to handpick his woman. Because godly men know that Satan gonna bring women in front of him. He knows that. Godly men know that God gonna bring the one of the best. Satan gonna bring a lot of them. God gonna bring one good one. When I say one good one, I don't mean God gonna bring a perfect woman to him. God gonna bring the right woman to the man. And sister, God gonna cause the right man to find you, not a perfect man. Number one, again, because remember the scripture, those of you that are coming in tonight, it's in 1 Corinthians 11:9. 1 Corinthians 11:9. 1 Corinthians 11:9. It said, and the man was not made for the woman, but the woman was made for the man. God strategically formed the man Adam first, then he brought Eve along. He did not create the woman first and then the man. He didn't do that. He created the man first, then he created the woman. And God clearly in God's word said that the man was not made for the woman. So any man that was created in the world, he was not made for the woman. But the woman was made for the man. This is God's word. This is not Tony's word. Okay. Now, number 2. Remember 25 reasons why good men lose interest in women. If a woman goes, how you doing, mother? Welcome to the dinner table. If a woman looks for validation, a godly man will lose interest in her. What do I mean by validation? You all know what I mean by validation. Case in point, look at Facebook. You ever see a lot of certain women, only thing they do a lot of time is show a lot of pictures of themselves all day, every day. They show a lot of themselves all day, every day. They never say nothing, but they want validation from men. That's what they want. They want validation from men. The less attire the woman have on, the more men approach her. Let me tell you this. Women that want validation, and I have seen some women that are very attractive, physically attractive, but for some reason on the inside of them, let me put this out. There's nothing wrong with a woman showing a picture on social media. Let me put that out there. Nothing wrong. But when you see a woman constantly doing it, when you see a woman constantly doing it, and is she doing it for herself or is she doing it to help people? Now, I could see if a woman trying to help people, but a lot of them don't say nothing. They just put a picture out there. They don't say nothing. Who are you helping? Are you helping other women or are you helping men? But a lot of time, a lot of women that when they put themselves out there, and if you all notice, a lot of women, they get attention. I'm going to go into that dressing part a little later. They get attention from a lot of men. And let me tell you what happened. When you see a whole bunch of men responding to how a woman look on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that, let me tell you something about that clearly. These men are mostly worldly men. I said mostly worldly men. And they look at these women like they're a piece of meat. So you have some Rockwilder men, and the woman is like a piece of meat. And those Rockwilders want to grab the meat and tear it up. And you put a piece of meat in the middle of Rockwilder, all of them are going to go after the meat. All of them. And what they want to do with the meat, they want to consume it. Or it's just like if a woman get a whole bunch of attention from men more than women, now it should be a balance. They look at this woman like she a drop of blood in the ocean. And what blood draws in the ocean? Sharks. So you have a whole lot of sharky men approaching women because they want her essence out of her. So godly men do not seek women that have a validation problem. Because you see, God's daughters does not have validation problem. God's daughters know who they are, they know why they're here, and they know where they're going. And she project the virtuous woman. If she's going to show herself, she project her goodness to the world. That's what she validates. She validates her relationship with God. Like Sister Ruth. Ruth did not go about trying to get validation from no man. What Ruth did, Ruth was about, I have always said this, Ruth was about her grind and taking care, following God, taking care of her and her mother-in-law. God strategically put Ruth there, and that's when Boaz found her. So she wasn't looking for no validation, but she got validation indirectly because God positioned her there. Number 3 of the 25 reasons why a good man loses interest. If this woman is a negative woman, godly men cannot bring a negative woman into his life. Because a godly man, he's supposed to project light. And the light is Christ in that man. A woman that's negative, She project darkness. She project gloom and doom. So when God bring a woman to a man, this woman already have light in her. This woman have the light of Christ in her. So if a man of God sees a woman that's negative, got a negative attitude, if the sun is up in the sky and it's a beautiful day out there, she will find one dark small cloud. And she said, but there's one cloud up there. She's gonna always be negative. You call, if he called her, she gonna always, it's woe is me. The world is bad. We know the world is bad. But it's always she talk negative. She never is upbeat. And a godly man, he does not have time to try to pull a negative acting woman out of her rut. And a lot of women, that's what happens sometimes, sister. That runs godly men away. It won't run a worldly man away, because worldly man will put up with that, because a worldly man, he just wants you temporary anyway, mostly for your back or for your asset, because they don't see no future in you. But you see, godly men cannot bring negative energy into his life, especially if he's trying to live a life that please God. So light need light. Light and darkness does not go together. So as a man that's godly, he's not going to deal with it. A godly man is a man that respects God. So he wants a woman that's going to respect God. And if the woman respects God, she's going to respect the man. Because remember what I said earlier. Remember what I said earlier in Ecclesiastes 26:23. 26:23. It said a wicked woman, a negative woman, a dog woman, a woman that doesn't have light, a Jezebel, is given to her portion to a wicked man, Ahab. But a godly woman, Ruth, is given to him that fears the Lord, Boaz. How can she hold interest? Number 4, a godly man will lose interest in a woman that is a nagger. She complains about everything. That's a part of darkness. If a woman is into Christ, yes, she's going to run through some tribulation, but she nag him all the time. You see, how can a man advance in life, especially if God want this man to have a wife, because this man know who he is, why he's here, and where he's going? What can a man do with someone that nag him? He needs someone that's going to walk with him. The Bible clearly say, how can two walk together unless they agree? So he's going to need a woman that's going to agree with the agenda that God placed in that man's life. But if she nag, if she's a naysayer, nothing positive. She cannot encourage this man as the leader, because the man's supposed to be the leader of the home and the woman's supposed to follow. I'm going to touch that shortly. Now, he cannot deal with a nagger. Worldly men could deal with a nagger because they just say, I let her do all that talking, but I'm not here for her mouth. I'm here for something else. Number 5, a godly man, a son of God, he cannot bring a woman into his life that is a gossiper. If the woman is a gossiper, she telling everybody business. Everybody business. She would tell secrets what she's supposed to keep to herself. Somebody may entrust her with some secrets, but she turn around and she tell everybody's secrets. She can't hold water. She go to now listen to what I'm saying. This is just a situation. She will go to the beauty shop and tell everybody business but hers. And then if you get some more gossipers in the beauty shop, they're going to do the same thing. And the one that was gossiping in the beauty shop, when she leaves, the people that in there, they're going to start gossiping about her. If a godly man have a gossiper, he know he can't keep her because he know that she talks too much. especially if she got a close friend and she tell him everything. If she tell him everything about what her children said, what her boyfriend said, and all that kind of stuff. If she talk, a gospel, no. A godly man cannot have a gossiper in his life. He has to have a woman in his life that knows when to say something positive and when not to say nothing. Number 6. How you doing? Yeah, how you doing, brother Israel? That's heavy, brother. That's right. Number 6. A godly man, a son of God, he cannot deal with a woman that's a social butterfly. What do I mean by a social butterfly? This is what I mean. If this man takes this woman around people like to a how shall I say it, to a gathering with other people, a social gathering, right? She's a social butterfly. What do I mean by that? She up in all other men's face. She flirts with other men in front of the man that took her with him. Can you imagine that? A man taking a woman to a social event and they supposed to be together. There's nothing wrong with the woman socializing. But this woman, she will leave him and she go around in other men's faces talking. How you doing, Marie? She go in other men's face talking, and then the other women that there, they could pick up on her. They said, and then they will clinch to their man because they say, I know what kind of woman this is. And another thing, have you brothers ever been in a situation you took a woman somewhere and you know what they say, like if you go, like say you go out dancing or something like that. You go out dancing. Let's say you and the lady, y'all said we're gonna go dance a little bit. We're gonna do our little exercise, we're gonna go dance a little bit. Nothing wrong with dancing, my brother and sister. It depends on what type of dancing you're doing now. That's the key. Now, let's say you go dancing, okay, somewhere. You at a family gathering or something like that, and they throwing some song. And this woman, she leave you and go dance with another man. You get up and go to the bathroom. You come back, she dance with other men. And if you want to dance with her, she tired. She's a social butterfly. She's flirty. When a son of God see a flirty woman and she flirts with other men, you know what those other men thinking? They said, I know what type of woman she is. She for the streets. Some women think that being flirtatious is cute. It's not cute. It's very disrespectful when a woman is all up in other men's faces and other women with their men, they see it and they don't want nothing to do with that woman. Because they can read. Women can read women like men can read men. So those social butterflies, she could just fly out there with the worldly men, but godly men don't have time for it. Because you see, a godly man, he's not over possessive, but that's his woman. And she's not for other men. She shouldn't be up in other men's faces. Number 7, out of the 25 reasons why a good man loses interest. If he needs space and she won't give him space. He needs space. This man may have to do something on behalf of God. He may want to spend time with God. He may have to do things for people on behalf of God, not things on behalf of himself. We talk about the spiritual man. When you talk about the worldly man, he needs space. Even, let me tell you this, even Jesus needed space. When Jesus was here on earth, Jesus had to pull himself away sometime and have private time with God. So this man needs space and she needs to understand. And we're going to get to, while I said that, it's going to tie up to the final point that I'm going to make by needing space. Number 8, 25 reasons why a good man loses interest in a woman. Number 8, She tells in-house business to others. This is a key one. She tells in-house business to others. What I mean, if there's problem in the home, she go tell her family, she go tell her co-workers, she go tell her friends, and lo and behold, she put her business on social media. She has to go tell everybody that the man had a hole in the bottom of his sock. She tells everything. She can't keep nothing in-house. Nothing at all. That's a woman that a spiritual man, he can't have that type of woman that talk too much. She tell there's nothing wrong if she says something about what good they doing together on behalf of God or some good thing, but she tell it all. This man, he cannot confine in her on things. Because you see, when a man have a wife, this woman's supposed to be his best friend after the Lord. How you doing, Sister Rhonda Harris? Welcome to the dinner table. She's supposed to be his best friend after his relationship with God. And you see the thing about, how can this man confine in this woman when she's a blabbermouth? He needs someone that knows how to keep it on the low. Not put everything out there. Some of you brothers and sisters, you know what I'm talking about. You can be on social media like Facebook, and you can see some of these people, it's bad, but some men does it. Some men do it too. They put all their business out there on social media, and then they ask the viewers what they think she should do. You get all these ungodly advice from people that don't even believe in Jesus. They say they believe in Jesus, but they don't. But they say they believe in Jesus. So this woman getting all this ungodly stuff from people she don't even know. She getting all this ungodly advice from her family, some of the family members. She getting all this ungodly advice from her girlfriend. And then she get all this advice from these sources, and then she go back home and she's going to try to take all that advice and throw it on her man. If he just dating, he's going to leave her alone eventually. How you doing, Sister Mary Jane? Welcome to the dinner table. He's going to leave her alone because she talks too much. She tells too much business. Let me tell you something, some of you sisters, some of my sisters, those of you that are watching the broadcast, do not, listen to me, read my lips. Do not take in-house business to your family. Do not take inside business to your friends. Do not take inside business to your co-workers or social media. Why? Because more than likely, sisters, these people that you talk to, they're going to believe everything you say. Most of them, they're going to believe it. But you see, the man is not present, so they could hear his side of the story. But a lot of women, they're gonna say what he did or what he didn't do. And a lot of women, not all women, they're gonna play the part of a victim. So you playing the part of a victim, and you influencing your family against this man. You influencing your friends against this man. You influencing your co-workers and social media against this man. And the man don't know nothing about it. So if the man come around your friends, they looking at him left eye. Your family friend, they looking at left eye. You have a social thing with your co-worker, they looking with the left eye. And he wondering what's going on. You done told a whole bunch of stuff. And this is another tragedy. Some women, not you sisters, some women, what they would do, they would tell they tell their family stuff and everybody how bad this man treating them. He treat me like a dog. He doing this, he doing that. You go on social media, he doing this, he doing that. He just a terrible man. And then you pop up around your family and you lovey-dovey with this man. You pop up around your friends and co-workers and you lovey-dovey with the man. And social media, you taking those pictures together like y'all love each other. But then you confusing people. You confusing people, your family, your friend, your co-worker, and social media because you saying how terrible he is, but then you change and act like you so much in love. And then when your family, your friends, your co-worker, social media ask you about it, then you say, stop my business. Stop my business. Now you want to get defensive, but you put the man out there. Now you want to get defensive. Then you want to say, y'all just hating. You just hating. They ain't hating. They're going by what you put out there. And that's what they're going by. Number 9, comparing him to other men. This is a no-no. Never compare him with other men. Never do this. What do I mean? This man could be doing something great for God or the world, the community. And other people compliment this man. They say how good this man is. You won't even compliment the man. But when the man talk to you about some of the stuff, you're going to bring up another man and say, well, this man did this and this man did that. And you totally ignore what this man do. You just don't realize what you're doing to this man by comparing him with other men. You shouldn't do that. You're supposed to be the encourager, which leads to number 10, you have no future goals. This man has a goal in life. He asks you, what you doing? Nothing. What you trying to do in life? Nothing. You just wait for life to bring stuff to you. You're not involved in life. You're not involved in helping people, doing things for people. You're not contributing at all. You have no goals. I ain't talking about personal goal. You should have personal goal, but you should have an ultimate goal, doing something on God's behalf. You understand that? You should do things on God's behalf. Number 11. Trying to control the man and you not his mama. Trying to control the man and you're not his mama. What do I mean by that? You tell he's supposed to be the leader of the relationship, especially you single men. You need to watch out for this, and some of you single sisters need to be aware. You cannot talk to a man like he's a little boy and you his mama. You have to know how to talk to this man. You see, men equate love with respect. Women equate love with how they feel. You understand? Women look at love how the man make her or cause her to feel. But men look at love as how she respect him. If you talk to a man like he's a nobody, if you call him names and you talk down to him like he's a little boy, you just don't know what you're doing. That might work on worldly men, but it doesn't work on godly men. So you're not his mama. Remember that. Number 12, you disregard his needs. He has needs. Now, if you're single, there's a certain limitation you can go. And then married, you got more privilege. But this man, he has needs. He needs someone to talk to. If you're single, especially if you get engaged, he wants to be able to come to you to talk to you about some things. He'll rather talk to you after God. or his boys and stuff. It's good when a man feel confident that he could come talk to his woman and express his needs. Because sometimes, let me tell you, most of the time men want to be able to handle their own thing. Most men do. But they also may need the advice of a godly woman, because the man does not have all the answers. And God could put the answer in you, sister, and you could tell him some things. Like, what do I mean by that? A lot of people going around here to talk about their kings and queens now, right? A lot of people going around, I'm a king, I'm a queen. But let's use the king and queen analogy. Who sits right next to the king on the throne? His queen, right? The king has to make the final decision to go to battle. People recognize the king and they recognize the queen. The king take the queen to the ball. Everybody knows the queen. When the queen, the king and the queen gets the first dance, the queen and the king, they get respect when they walk through people. The king and the queen, when they sit on their throne and something come before the king, he may have advisors, but he will look to that woman for advice. Sister Fantasia said this. You all familiar with Fantasia, right? The singer. She's married. And she said something that was very insightful. She's a young lady, Fantasia the singer, but she said something. You know what Fantasia said? Fantasia said that her husband is the head and she is the neck. What do I mean by the neck? We going to number 14 now. Not being supportive. The neck supports the head. You understand? Sister, if the man going to be the head of the relationship after the Lord, you the neck, you supposed to support. Like Fantasia said, the neck, all you have to do, and I have said it before, the head needs the neck to look up, to look left, to look right, to look down. And the neck helping the head. That's what you're supposed to be in a relationship. You're supposed to support. If you're not going to support a man of God, he is going to lose interest. Even before he asks you to get married, he could be on the verge of marriage. He could be saying, I just want to see, I'm going to give her a little more time and I'm going to do something. I'm going to see if she's going to be support. No support. But you support other people, what you see, but you won't support that man. That's supposed to be the head of your life. Another point, bragging about your ex and your daddy. Bragging about your ex and your daddy. What do I mean by this? The man that your ex, he's your ex for a reason. And that comes a lot about comparing, right? You want to talk about how great this man is, your ex, to this man that you with. Why would you want to throw that in his face? What if he throw in your face how great his ex was? You wouldn't like it. And then you want to make a scene, and then you want to brag to him how great your daddy is. He's not your daddy. He's your man. Hopefully be your husband. I'm going to give you all a situation. Some years ago, when I was single, there was this lady that I was dating, okay? There was this lady that I was dating. Every time we went somewhere or whatever, she always brought up her dad, how great her daddy is. But he deceased. I listened to her. My daddy this, my dad that, my dad this. Like her daddy was the king of the president of the United States. Tony, my daddy did this. You ought to do this like my daddy did. All that crap. So we was at dinner one night. Let me back up. Let me back up. Overall, she was a nice lady. Okay, she was a nice lady, but I got tired of that crap. She always bring her dad up doing that comparison and contrast with her dad and me. So this is what she said. She was gonna come to where I lived. That this happened years ago before my wife Cinderella. Okay, now this woman, let me tell you a little about this woman. This woman had herself together. When you look at it from an asset standpoint, she had herself together. I must say, she had herself together. If you just look at the assets, but it was something else. Now, she said one day, she said, Tony, I want you to leave the key coming to your resident, because I had to go to my job at that particular time. She said, leave the key, and I got a surprise for you. So I left the key. I came home, and this lady had purchased like 14 shirts I didn't ask for. She purchased 14 pair of pants I didn't ask for, 14 pair of socks I didn't ask for, and several shoes I didn't ask for, and jackets I didn't ask for. Because I still was able to maintain, but she wanted to do that. So she did it. Okay, I came home and I seen all that. And I thanked her for it. I was very gracious that she decided she wanted to do that for me. Okay. I didn't ask her to do it, but she did it. So we went to dinner. We went to dinner, and when we went to dinner, we was at the nice upscale place eating dinner. And she started that daddy crap again, how great her daddy was and stuff. And my daddy used to do things, and I want you to do some of the things that my daddy used to do. And at this point, I said to her, I said, look, no disrespect to your father, okay? But I'm not your daddy. I will never be your daddy. So stop telling me you want me to do things like your daddy did. Comprende? And then she looked at me and she said, you are so ungrateful. I said, what you mean by so ungrateful? I just get tired of you telling me what your daddy did and you want me to do something your daddy. I'm not your daddy. And she said, you know what? You know what, Mr. Toomer? Those items that I purchased for you, I shouldn't have not done it. And I said, I didn't ask you to do that. I was grateful, but I didn't ask you to do. She said, you know what I ought to do? I said, what you ought to do? She said, all those items that I purchased for you, I need to go back to your residence. I need to get all those items and I need to return them back to where I purchased them. And I said, okay, you can do it if you want to. She said, she got a handkerchief, my brother and sister, she wiped them out. She said, I'm ready to depart. She didn't say I'm ready to go. That's how she used to talk, that kind of talk. I'm ready to depart, Mr. Toomer. So we got in the car. It was silent all the way to my residence. We got there, and I thought she was playing, right? She went and got all those clothes. I watched her go backward and forward, getting those clothes, the shirts, the pants, the jackets, the shoes. And you know what I learned? I learned that this particular woman, if she get angry, she would take stuff back. So at that particular, and I didn't ask her to do it. I'm just showing you. She was bragging about her dad, and I got tired of it. That's the point I'm making. So what happened? The rest of history, I went on. Okay? Now, another thing. Playing hard to get. Sister, there's no need to play hard to get. If someone indoctrinated you in trying to play hard to get, you need to throw that foolishness away. That's a game. You do not play games with a man of God. You see, a man of God, he will let you know his intentions early in the relationship. He will basically let you know who he is, why he's here, and where he's going. A man of God is not going to try to buy your affection. A man of God would like for you to like him for who he is before you respect him for who he is. Is how men see it. But some of you sisters, not all of you, Some of your sisters, you act like some of these worldly women out there. What do I mean by that? You believe that a man supposed to jump through fiery hoops. You believe that you're supposed to sit in a vacant auditorium and he's supposed to be on the stage performing, and you don't do anything. And then you play games when the man call you. You see him calling you, and you don't answer the phone right then. The phone be right there. Playing all those games just to see, testing the man, because some women, you do unnecessary tests. That's very immature. You can run that stuff on worldly men, but godly men, they're not. If God get into discernment to see what you're doing, you're gonna notice that man gonna pull back. When that man pulls back, you're gonna wonder why he don't call you no more, why he don't call you and say good morning or send you a text. You're gonna wonder why he's not doing nothing. You're gonna wonder why he's not asking you to go out and stuff. He's pulling back because he's losing his interest in you, because you're playing head games with him. Do not play head game when you know you got a man in front of you, which is a man God. You can play those head game with worldly men. Those men that say they high value man, go play with them. Go play with them. But godly man, you don't play, because godly men, they are focus driven. They got purpose in their life. They don't have time to play. They'll play with you on a good sense, play little games with you. I ain't talking about head game, but they will play games with you, but not head game. So some of you was brought up, and I got to be honest. Some of you were brought up and you was indoctrinated by some of your mothers, even some of your daddies, or somebody. So a lot of sisters, when I say sister, I'm not only talking about black women. I'm talking about it goes over the spectrum. It don't matter what color you are. If you are a daughter of God, I'm talking to you. You do not play games with men. You don't have time to play games. If you play games with a good man, he's going to lose interest. Because remember I said, godly men don't run after you anyway. Remember what I said about godly men? I said this. Let me make a point. In Proverbs 19:14, it say, houses and wealth are the inheritance from parents, but a prudent wife is from the Lord. Listen to what I'm saying again. Proverbs 19:14, it said, houses and wealth are from the parents, or inherit from the parent, but a prudent wife is from the Lord. What am I saying? He looking to see, are you a prudent woman? What is a prudent woman? All you have to do is go look in Proverbs 31. It has an outline, the prototype of what a real godly woman is. Not a perfect woman, but a godly woman. That's a prudent woman. And remember also what I said. Ecclesiastes 26:23, I said, it said a wicked woman is given as opposed to a wicked man, but a godly woman is given to him that fears the Lord. So you got to understand, if it's a godly man, God wants to give a godly man that respect him, a godly woman. God is not going to bring a wicked woman to his sons. Satan will bring to try to enhance or trick. I mean, not enhance, but to influence or try to get a godly man that's not of God. Because God only brings a godly woman to a man. So the question is, you have to ask yourself, am I a godly woman or am I a wicked woman? You one of the two. So you got to ask yourself that question. You play. Next point. You play. Not you play. You hang out in the street too much. What do I mean by that? You hang out in the street too much. Why is it There is nothing wrong with a woman going out. There's nothing wrong with a woman going out. There's nothing wrong with a woman hanging out with her friends. Nothing wrong with it. But you all know what I'm talking about. She be in the streets all the time. The party girl. This is the classic thing. The party girl. Have you ever noticed on social media, you could see the party girls and they could be confusing. They could be, you could see them, they in worship service on Sunday, but on Saturday they shaking the groove thing, right? This is what they do. And you just seen the party girl do this. You ever notice sometime when you look at social media and you will see a glass and it had wine in it, right? Have you ever noticed the party girls? They would bring the glass in and out like that. Have you noticed the party girls do that? They living a good life. You all know what I'm talking about. They be focused, they have it on Facebook and stuff. Or social media. They bring that glass in and out so you can see that they're a party girl. But then Sunday they showing live broadcast from their worship service. You all know what I'm talking about. They holy on Sunday, but they were doing all that other stuff through the week. The party girls. A godly man, he don't mind his woman getting out having a good time every now and then, but all the time in the street, she can't stay home. So if he marry her, which will be fatal, if he marry her, you know what she's gonna tell him? He might say, baby, you be in the streets too much. Why don't you stay home sometime? You know what she's gonna say? When she gonna put her hand on her hips like this, she said, when you and I was dating, you knew what type of woman I was. So why should I stop hanging out there with my friends? I don't see nothing wrong with it when you knew how I was then, and I'm not going to change. That's what some godly men, if you get food to get a party girl, that's what you're going to get. You going to get it. Another point. She put others before the man. She put others before the man. What do I mean by that? Brothers, if you are a godly man and you meet a woman, because most of the time, let's be realistic. Most of the time, not all the time, as you get older, a woman probably going to have 1.5 children, okay? You may have 1.5 children. Let's say you meet a woman. More than likely, bro, you got to understand this too. She had a life before you met her. You come into her life. You and her, you all get together and you trying to see, you Christian brothers, you trying to say, okay, can I see whether this woman would be wife material? Let me put a dime in the meter. You brothers and sisters, especially you sister, I'm going to tell you this. I have said it before. It doesn't take a man a long period of time to decide whether or not you wife material to him or not. It doesn't take us that long. We can make the decision just like that. We may not tell you, but we can make the decision just like that. We know whether we want to be with you for our future. We know when you start opening up your mouth and start talking and stuff, we know whether I'm going to deal with her temporary. I'm going to deal with her temporary long term, which could go for 20 years. I might give her a shut up ring so she could think that we're going to get married, but we ain't gonna never get married. I could deal with her like that. I could say that I'm serious. I could say that I'm committed, but I'm not going to marry her. Then you got the women that the man know straight up. I like Boaz. When Boaz looked at Ruth, I want that one. When Isaac looked at Rebecca, I want that one. When Adam looked at Eve, I want that one. They knew early. No playing games. They knew early. But The woman put others before him. And I have told you all this. Some of you people on the tube, you haven't heard this before, but some of the people on the book have heard this before. Some of you all that on the book, allow me to tell the people on the tube this example. This is what happened. There was this young lady that I was dating before Cinderella, a few years before I married Cinderella, okay? I told her she wanted to get married. She always talked about getting married, but I was kind of skeptical, right? She always wanted to talk about getting married. So I said, I tell you what, I want you to write on a sheet of paper the 5 most important things that would be important to you if you and I get married. I said, I want you to write on a piece of paper. If we get married, I want you to write down the 5 most important things that would be important to you. She said, okay. I said, I'm going to call you back with about 2 hours. I gave her 2 hours and 30 minutes. I threw in a free 30 minutes. I called her and I said, remember the question that I asked you? Write down the 5 most important things in your life if you and I get married. And she said, yes, I heard it. I said, do you want me to repeat it to you? I said, then she said, no, Tony Toomer. I heard what you said, Tony Toomer. I said, okay, give me the 5 most important things in your life if you and I got married. She said, okay, number 1, it would be my children. Number 2, it will be my mother. Number 3, it will be my job. Number 4, it will be a house that you and I get together. And number 5, it will be you. I said, run that by me again. Did you hear what I asked you about 2 hours and 30 minutes ago? I said, name the 5 most important. You see the key word? I said the 5 most important thing that would be important to you if we were married. She said, Tony Toomer, did you hear what I said? Did you hear what I say? I said, tell me again. And she said, listen, Tony Toomer, it would be my children. 1, it would be my mother. 2, it would be my job. 3, it would be a house. 4, that you and I would get together. And number 5, it would be you, Tony Toomer. And I said, we can't roll. And she said, why? I said, we can't roll. I said, why would you put me at number 5 when I shouldn't be at number 5? She said, where should you be? I said, after God, I should be number 2. And she said, what do you mean by that? I said, you didn't even put God in the equation. I said, if you would have asked me that question, this is how I would have went. I said it would have been God first, you being my wife second, my family and your family third, my job fourth, and all other things fifth. I said, God, you, family, my job, and all of the things after that. That's what I would have done. I said, you and I can't roll. Because I said, your priority is whack. You see, when it comes to a godly man, the structure and the pattern is supposed to be God first, because it got God is the head of Christ, Christ is the head of man, and man is the head of woman. That's the pattern. God is the head of Christ, Christ is the head of man, man is the head of woman. So you see, you all know now that we didn't go that far because I ended up with Cinderella back there. Now, another thing, some women, they don't respect the man in person, privately, and they go butt wild in public. This is what I mean. There are some women, not none of you sisters, but I'm just telling you, you disrespect that man in private. With this, your tone, you disrespect him. You disrespect him all the time. He talks, you cut him off, but you want to be heard. When you say, I want to talk, no, you said, we need to talk. And he said, okay, we need to talk. The key word, we need to talk. So he knows that when we need to talk, it means that you got a laundry list of complaints. Nothing to praise him, but complaints. So you go in on it. But remember, you said we need to talk. So when he started talking, you don't want to hear it. It's irrelevant. You want to bring up stuff that happened in the Garden of Eden after Adam and Eve messed up. You want to go all the way back there like you was in the Garden of Eden and bring up the past. And you want to throw the past in his face all the time. You could do that with worldly men, but godly men ain't no have. Because see, godly men, they want peace. Even though they don't live in the Middle East, they want peace. It's nothing like a peaceful woman. Because the Bible clearly said that God is not the author of confusion, but peace. Unspeakable peace. So a man, if a man goes out and he comes in, some of you sisters, you got to realize this. Some of you singles, so you got to realize this. Hopefully, I'm not talking to any of you, but you know some examples of it. If a man, let me tell you something. Sometimes a woman think, why is the man not coming straight home? The first thing a lot of women think, he got another woman. Not necessarily so. If a man leaving his job or something, he know you home, a lot of time he done left some crap at his job. Now he got to get refocused because he got to deal with you. He come home, he see your car there, and he knows before he put both of his feet in the door, a foot in the door, a foot, then the other foot in the door, he know that you're going to blast him. He know time he come in, he's going to hear nothing but mouth. That's why some men, they go to drink before they come home. And you think he just became an alcoholic. He should have went to Jesus first, but he decided to go to get lit. So he come home lit, and you say you ain't nothing but a drunkard. But he was doing that to prepare for you. That was his sedative. Then you go in public. You go in public with this man, you get drunk. You get pee drunk. And then you the life of the party. You talking loud, you twerking, you doing all kinds of stuff, and other people looking at you, then they look at him. What you think going on in that man's mind? You are the spectacle in public. You out there cussing. You doing all kinds of crazy stuff. You having arguments with other men and women. You doing all because you want to be the life of somebody else's party. You go take over somebody else's house. Godly men gonna lose interest in you quickly. If you expose them to that, they're gonna lose interest in you quickly by not respecting him in person or in public. Another factor, you stop fixing yourself up. You remember how you used to fix yourself up? Remember, men are visual. So you don't want to fix yourself up no more. You just let everything go south. You don't care no more because you got the man. Let me tell you something, sister. If you're dating, however you start, you got to increase. Remember, I said you got to increase, not level it off. You got to increase. And that go for you, brother, too. However you start, you got to increase. Whatever you did, you got to increase. You don't stay level off. You got to increase because you see, your relationship is about growth. How you doing, Sister Jade? Welcome to the dinner table. Your relationship got to grow. So, sister, you better believe men are visual. Remember when he used to say how nice you look in that dress? But you don't care. You walking around with a head rag on in the house. You just all kinds of ways. And you don't care. But then he look at these other women that got themselves fixed up. They got their hair done, all this stuff. They got it together. Even if it ain't real, it look real. And they got all this stuff together. But you just don't care how you look. Sometimes you don't even look, you won't even comb your hair to go to the grocery store. You will go to the grocery store with your pajama pants on. And you all know what I'm talking about. I see some of them at the airport. You walk around with pajamas on and in public and at the store and with this thing on your head. What you call that thing on, or what some women wear on their head, what they should be wearing at home? You all know what I'm talking about. You doing that kind of stuff. It's a turn off. And then some of you saying, some of you married ones, you'll be saying, my husband don't want to touch me no more. He don't want to touch me no more, Tony. Yeah, thank you, Sister Mildred. That bonnet. You walk around with that bonnet. At the airport with the bonnet. Everywhere with the bonnet. Bonnet here, bonnet there, bonnet everywhere. You just don't care. But then when you want to go out with your girls, you know how to fix yourself up then, but you don't want to fix up for your man. Thank you, Sister Jade and Sister Mira. That's right. You don't want to fix up. You don't want to fix up for the man. Me individual. That's why if he, and what I'm doing, I'm not endorsing it, but I'm just talking real facts. When he get tantalized by another woman, you're going to have a problem. I'm not justifying that he should do that. He shouldn't do that. But that's what some men would do. Yeah, that's right, Terry. That girl, that lady, she put the house over me. She just looked at me to help her pay the house notes. That's right. But guess what? I was gone. Long gone. Next point. You put him on a schedule. Anytime he wants to see you, oh, that won't be good. That's not a good time. I got to get back with you. I got to get back with you. It's something that I got to do. Let me get back with you. I used that illustration last week when I was talking. Let me give you a situation, sister. You single. He's single. You said you like him. He like you. What is tonight? Tonight is Tuesday. Say, for example, he called you and say, hey, let's go out Friday. You say, and it's Tuesday night, I don't know about that. Let me get back with you. Nope. Let me tell you this, sisters and brothers. When I was out there in the streets, if a woman ever told me, any woman ever told me, now I'm not saying I'm all there in a bag of chips, but this is how your brother Tony used to roll when he was out there. If I ever asked a woman, do you want to go out Friday? And if any woman ever said, let me get back with you, I X her out real quick and I go to another one. I never waited around. Do you want to meet up? Let me get back with you. If they say, let me get back with you and all that kind of stuff, delay tactics and put me on schedule, I never asked them what they had to do, or I never did no follow-up. If a woman say, if I asked a woman out and she say, call me, okay, today, Tuesday. If she say, well, call me back Thursday and I'll let you know. You know what? When Thursday came, her phone did not ring. Because guess what? Your brother Tony, he had another date. Then You know what she'll do? They would do. I'll put it this way. You know what they would do? Why you didn't call me? Why you didn't call me? You was supposed to call me on Thursday because you said you want to go out Friday. I asked you on Tuesday. I'm not gonna wait for you. Then this what they'll add. Well, what did you do? Especially if you be in their face. If you see them, like say for instance, Friday come and you already went on a date with someone else, then you go see them like on a Saturday because she want to see you then, right? So you go see her on a Saturday or whatever. What did you do? I thought you were supposed to call me Thursday. I asked you what you want to do Tuesday, and you should have told me then. You're not no president of the United States, Then okay, well, what did you do? I went out. Then I'll do the head ball with them. I went out. What did you do? I went to the movie. With who? Don't worry about it. You did not want to go. And dot, that was it. Sister, never put no man on no schedule. Let him know right then. If he asks you, let him know right then. It's just a few days. You could get some projection. You could always give projection. How you doing, Brother Joe? You could always give projection. How you doing, Sister Brenda Kate? You could always project. That's not saying you're going to live the Friday, but you could always project. You project for going to, if your name's Stella, you project to go to Jamaica to meet and you're going to run to Wilson. You project the trip, don't you? So why you can't project within a few days of a week? A man do not never put a man on the schedule. Move right along. You never want to do nothing but stay at home. You never want to do anything. This man is an adventurer. He wants to get out there and do positive things. He asks you, hey, come with me. I need you. Come on with me. We will have some fun. I'd rather stay at home. Have never been outside the city limits. Scared to go outside the city limits. If she does go outside the city limit with you, she used to drive around in the car in the city because she's familiar with everything. She be real slow, but you take her outside the city limit, and then she be holding on, scared. She see all those cars on the interstate. When you see in her hometown, she might see one lane going north, one lane going south, right? But when you go outside the city limits and past that one red light that's in the city, she sees 6 lanes and she gets scared. And she's not even driving. Scared to go anywhere. Let's go do this. Let's go visit somewhere. How are we going to get there? We need to fly. I ain't scared of plane. I ain't no bird. I'm scared of plane. Let's go on a cruise. I'm scared of the ocean. I'm not no fish. Well, what you want to do? I'm okay staying at home. Nope. Godly men, they have a purpose. You don't know where God gonna lead that man. And if you're gonna be that man's wife, you got to be able to get ready to go with him because he needs your support. Next point, you don't contact him unless he contact you. That's one of the worst things, and that goes to playing games. This man calls you in the morning, he texts you in the morning, he calls you throughout the day. He have to make all the arrangement to do everything. You never put no effort in. You never call him. You never text him, but you will reply. You never invite him to do anything. Everything is on him, and he have to go in his money, in his excuse me, he got to go in his wallet every time. You won't pay for nothing. You go to a restaurant, you won't even offer to pay the tip. If he said you're gonna get the tip, then you're gonna give the waitress a tip, and then this is what you'll do. When the waitress go by, you'll pull the waitress and say, I got a tip for you. And the waitress say, you do? Yeah. Keep doing a good job. You're doing a real good job. That's my tip for today. You don't have a clean environment. What do I mean by that? You don't have a clean environment. He come over to your house and it looked like World War III. You started World War III. The house is dirty. He goes to the bathroom. And I'm telling you this, sister, from experience. You go to the bathroom. The woman looked good. She dressed good. She smelled good. But when you go to her home, it's a disaster. And you wondering, is this the same woman that I seen out there? And she finally let you come to her house. You ride up. You see the house. I mean, if the grass may be cut, the house might look good. But when you go in that war zone, everything is messed up. She got dishes all in the sink. You see roaches. You go to the bathroom and the toilet. You know how I get when you don't clean the toilet down there. It be looking dark. It be nasty looking. And I be saying, how can she sit on the toilet? How can she? Let me tell you this, my brother and sister, some years ago, I went over to this woman's house. And she said, let's go to my room and look at the TV. So we went to her room. We were about to go to her room, look at TV. When I walked into her room, she had a half of a sandwich. How you doing, Sister Cynthia? Word to the detail. She had half of a sandwich. The sandwich was up on her dresser. The sandwich was up there probably for some days. You know why I know? Cause you know how a sandwich might look when it's been out for a while. You know how it dry up and look hard. And little roaches was crawling over it. Clean environment. So if her house not clean, her personal thing, her personal might not be clean. You know what I mean? If she got to clean, if it's not clean the house, she might not be too tight, clean. You know what I mean? She might not be that clean. So if the man married her, he done got past how nasty the house is, but she nasty. Nasty. Look good and everything, but nasty. She don't keep her environment clean. Next point. She will not follow the man. What do I mean? A godly woman will follow a godly man. See, a godly man wants desire for a woman that he get married to follow him. And I must say this again for you on the books. You have heard this story before. I got to tell it to the people that's on the tube. Listen up. When I met my wife, I married her within 3 months after I met her. That's why I tell you, it doesn't take a man a long period of time to know whether he's going to marry a woman. When I met her, I told her, I said, you look good, but I got to know how you think. But I did not tell my wife what I prayed to God for. 5 years before I met my wife, I prayed to God. I had been through several relationships. And I prayed to God. I said, God, I want a woman to follow me as I follow Christ. I thought God was going to answer it just like that. How you doing, Sister Leslie? I worked to the dinner table. I thought God was going to answer just like that. Nope, I had to wait for about 5 years. And during those 5 years, I was about to settle. But I'm glad God helped me back from going into a failed relationship. I have already been through a failed relationship, but I didn't want to do it. I was about to do it again. I was about to settle. But God helped me back. But on with the story, I told my wife, I said, look, you look good, but I got to know how you think. So I processed all that. I did my background checking on. She didn't know I did no background check, but I did a background check on it and everything because I had sources. I don't know everything about it. She could have been hiding. She could be still be hiding some whatever she did, but I did some thorough background check. She didn't know. I did the Boaz on her. You know what Boaz did? Boaz inquired about Ruth. Read it. He asked that foreman about Ruth. He got some background on Ruth. I got some background on Cinderella. That's right. She looked good, but I got to know how she think, and I have to know how she moved. It was just like if Cinderella was going to be at the White House. You know, like if you're going to work at the White House, you got to go through some clearances, right? I had to check Cinderella out. She had to go through some clearances whether or not she was going to be my wife. Okay, she had to go through some clearances. Okay, in a short period of time. But this is what happened. She called me one day, and she said, "Tony, what you doing?" I said, "I'm just chilling." And she said, "I want to follow you." I said, "You want to what?" She said, "I want to follow you." I said, "What you mean by that?" "I want to follow you." She the only woman, my brother and sister, that said, "I want to follow you." And remember, 5 years before that, I prayed to God, I want a woman to follow me. And when I prayed to God, I want a woman to follow me, I didn't tell nobody. If a woman said, "What you looking for?" I would just get them I just would give them breadcrumbs of what I was looking for, because I was not going to tell a woman exactly what I was going to looking for, because they could do like Satan. They could become an angel of light, and they could do whatever I say I was looking for just to, get me. But anyway, that was arrogant, wasn't it? No, I was just playing. But anyway, she said, "I want to follow you." And when she said, "I want to follow you," I knew right then, bam, God answered my prayer. Because I said to God, I want a woman to follow me, and it verbally came out of her mouth. And I knew she was going to follow me. Sister Cynthia said, yes, investigate people. We all need to do that on a man or woman. By the way, investigation, my brother and sister, let me put some things. I have told some of you all this, but when you single brothers and sisters, always remember this. When you are talking to a man or woman about getting into a relationship, say a silent prayer to God. Say, "Lord," your brother and sister said, "Lord, give me discernment so I can see where this man or woman coming from." Always ask God, because you don't know. Anybody you meet, my brother and sister, including yourself, they don't see all of you. They just see a version of you. They see a mask. They never see the real you. You never see the real them. That's why you have to ask God for discernment. And remember this formula, my brother and sister. Always remember this formula. It's called forms. Write it down. FORMS. Just like you got to fill out some form to get a job or the loan. Remember this strategy. Forms. FORMS. What does that stand for? You need to see whether you have are you common with family? F. You got to see about occupation, what you do, because you got to know how to pay those bills. Or religion. Do you all believe in the same Jesus? Are you going to worship together? You can't compromise. Sisters, if the man's supposed to be the head of the relationship, he need a relationship with God, and wherever that man at, you need to get yourself with him, because you supposed to follow your husband. He is the leader. He don't supposed to be going backward and forward with you and him. You supposed to follow your husband. If you can't follow your husband, you don't need to be in no relationship. Now, when you have your little boyfriend, he could go over there, you could go over there, y'all could do all that. But when you get married, if that man is following the Lord, you got to follow him. You got to be on one accord. You know why? I bet you some of you women, listen to this. You will have a problem if you go to worship service and your preacher wife is somewhere else. You will have a problem with that, won't you? Because you're going to wonder why his wife go over there. You want your preacher's wife right there with him, don't you? Well, why you can't be with your husband? What's the difference? He a preacher, but he a man. You understand? A man that's married is supposed to represent Jesus, and the woman that married, she represents the church. Jesus initiate contact, and he wants the church to follow him. And that's what a man's supposed to do. He's supposed to initiate, and his wife and children supposed to follow him. And let me give you another point. Abraham and Sarah. You all remember Abraham and Sarah. Can you imagine? Abraham came home to Sarah after he met the Lord. He didn't know the Lord before the Lord, because Abraham was a pagan at first, okay? He believed in other gods and stuff like Sarah. But the Lord introduced himself to Abraham. And he told Abraham, look, I'm the Lord, and I want you to go to a place that I'm going to show you. And he talked to Abraham. When he talked to Abraham, guess what Abraham did? He had to go home and talk to Sarah. Can you imagine Abraham coming to Sarah and say, look, we got to leave. And Sarah said, what you talking about? We got to leave. The Lord, I met the Lord. Oh, you met one of the guards right here? No. I met the real Lord. I met the I am. I met the Lord. All this other stuff, what we believe in. I met the real Lord. And he said, he want me to go somewhere where he's gonna show me. And guess what? If you my wife, are you gonna roll with daddy, or you gonna stay here? And I could imagine Sarah would say, where we going? I don't know. He just said he's gonna lead me. I don't know where we're going. I believe this guy though. I'm gonna do what he say. I believe he's the Lord, the real one. Then you know what Sarah did? Sarah had to buy into it. Can you imagine Sarah, sisters? She was used to a certain lifestyle. She had family, friends, and everything. Now she got to go somewhere she never been before. And on top of that, this man can't tell her exactly where he going. But she bought in. You know what she bought in? She believed it was something about that man that made her say, I'm down with you. And she followed. That's one of the best examples of a woman following man, when Sarah followed Abraham as he followed God. That's one of the best examples in the Bible of a woman following a man. How you doing, Trinity? Welcome to the dinner table, Trinity. Now, if you can't follow the man, sister, unless you're a boss lady, you're a boss lady. If you're a boss lady, you don't need to, because you see, you shouldn't get married if you think it's going to be two heads in one house. It ain't but one head in this, where I stay at. It's one head, and I don't have to say nothing. It's one head, and that's me. I don't have to tell Cinderella. You know why? Because she followed God directly. So if she followed God directly, it's natural for her to follow me as long as I follow God. I don't have no problem with Cinderella. She might disagree with some of my things, but she rolled with me. Yeah, that's right. So, and you could be a boss at work, but a wife at home. Have you all ever seen a woman that's a boss lady, that says she a boss lady, and she got a lot of masculine energy? And let me tell you something. A woman that got a lot of masculine energy, most of these women, they got weak men. You could tell they timid. You said, boo, they jump. These timid men. You see them at the malls holding the lady pocketbook, and she walking in front of him. And he walking behind her with her pocketbook. Or he's sitting at the mall because she said, get up, John. We're going to the mall. Okay, I'm going. Then you see them at the mall. Most of the time, my brothers and sisters, most of the time you see men sitting around at the mall. That means that woman, she going all around the mall, and he know to sit right there. So you all think that a man just go to the mall and just be sitting there people watching. She told him he going. She told him. Or you might see them somewhere looking at TV. She let him look at TV. You know the phrase, happy wife, happy life. That's a big crap. That's crap. Ain't no such thing as happy wife, happy life. That's what messed Adam up. Adam was trying to please Eve instead of God. I will not please. I'd rather not be with my wife. If I had a choice between Jesus and my wife, it's Jesus. She will never be in front of Jesus. And I would never be in front of Jesus to her. You understand? My wife will never be number one in my life, which leads to this. Sister, you want to be number two in his life, not number one. Any man that puts you on a pedestal, he's not worthy of you. I'm talking to you, Sister Strickland, now. Any man that wants to put you on a pedestal, he's not worthy of you. Because the man that puts you on a pedestal, where's Jesus? Only Jesus supposed to be on a pedestal, not no woman. And sister, he's not on a pedestal. Your husband is not on a pedestal. Jesus is on the pedestal. Never put, brother, a woman on a pedestal. Sister, never put a man on a pedestal. That only belongs to the Lord. And let me tell you something else. I know I'm going to lose some of you all now. While I'm on the road, listen to this. Pedestal. Do you not know, my brothers and sisters, the only time you bend the knee to someone is to the Lord? Anytime you bend your knee to something or somebody else, that's your idol. And we're not talking about American idol. You see, there's a thing called an idol. An idol is anything that you got over God. God do not want you to bend the knee to no one but him. All worship goes to Jesus, which leads to this. There's some foolishness going on around. The foolishness is there are some women that get on their knees asking a man to marry her. Have you all seen some of this foolishness going on? There's the foolishness that some women get on their knees asking men to marry them. That's foolish. And then there's another foolish thing. I'm about to lose some of you all now. No man should be getting on his knee to no woman. Only time a man get on his knee is to God. Now, it's different ways you could ask a woman to marry you, but you don't get on your knee looking up at a woman as if she's God. That only belongs to God. Sister Ingrid said, what about when the man bent a knee to propose? That's an idol. That's what I'm talking about right now, Ingrid. A man supposed to bend his knee only to God. A woman supposed to bend her knee only to God. Someone said, let's hear it. I feel I'm aware, but I always need to hear what others say. Okay, I understand that. Now listen. Listen carefully. Who is your God? Who do you bend the knee down to? Who do you look up to? The only person you look up to and bow down to is God. You look up to him and you bow down to him. I'm going to give you a point. In the Bible, when John was taken up to heaven to get revelation from God, you know the John that when you read Revelation, John was about to bend the knee to an angel. The angel said, don't do that. Even Cornelius in the book of Acts, He was about to bow a knee to an angel. He said, don't do that. So if angels don't want you to bend the knee, what are angels telling us? Angels said, I'm not the one you're supposed to be bending on knee to. You only bend the knee to God. You understand? Angel will stop you from doing that. They say, don't do that. That's only belong to God. And we are lesser than angels. You follow my point? And that's right. The one and true God Almighty, the creator of the universe, is the only one I bow down and get on my knees for. And guess what? There's another part in the Bible. Elijah was running from Jezebel. He was running from Jezebel. He was scared of that woman. He was running. He had just killed all those prophets through God. Elijah prayed to God to send fire from heaven. It came down. It souped up everything and then he killed those false prophets. Jezebel heard the story, and Jezebel said, "You know what?" She sent a message to Elijah. She said, "You know what? The same time tomorrow, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. I'm going to kill you." And he took off running. He was running. Boom, 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 boom. He was running. And then he got to a place. He got so disheartened. You know what he asked the Lord? He said, "Take my life. I'm the only one that believe in you." And you know what God said? You think you're the only one. I got 7,000 men that have not bowed the knee to Babel or whatever that God name, Bala or whatever. You all know what I'm talking about. God said, I got 7,000 that have not been the knee. You got to understand, my brothers. You got to understand, my sister. Sister Terry said, never thought about that, Tony Sutton. Yeah, that's right. Thank you, sister. You got to understand that, sister and brothers. Sisters, this dinner was basically for you all, basically tonight. It's for the brothers too. If you desire to have a godly man in your life, I gave you some pointers. Hopefully you took those pointers into consideration. And you need to remember this too, sister. Again, in 1 Corinthians 11:9, 1 Corinthians 11:9, 1 Corinthians 11:9, it said, and the man was not made for the woman, but the woman was made for the man. Remember, God said, it's not good long I'll make him a helpmeet or a helpmate. That doesn't mean that a man is better than a woman. It doesn't mean that. But this is God's way. If you have a problem with it, you need to ask God about it. See what God modified for you. Go to God and say, I disagree with some of that stuff, God. I think a woman should be able to do this. Why don't you change some of this stuff, God? Why? You ask God that. I can't say it. Sister Rhonda said, I remember you saying that it bear wisdom with my spirit. I bought a new house last year. Just met a good man. I told my family I was going to live with him. They told me I was crazy. Sister Rhonda, your family is right. Don't move in with a man unless you're married. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. And brothers out there, brothers, do not move. Listen to me carefully. I rephrase it. Brothers, my advice to you is do not move into a woman's house. What you should do is you're going to marry a woman, even though she got that mansion. What you need to do is say, you move with me or we get a house together somewhere. And you could keep that house. You can make some money off that house. Now, we can make some money off the house because you can rent it and stuff. Because you see, I'm telling you, don't move into my advice, don't move into the woman's house. Because if she get pissed off at you, women are emotional. They're emotional. And if you push a woman, you know what she's gonna tell you? She's gonna put her hands on her hips and you push her. When I say push her to her limits. She's gonna do that head bob. And then she gonna do the head bob, and then she gonna make her exclamation point like that. She gonna say, "Look, this is my house. Do you understand?" If you ask her why she do certain things, because she might say you the man of the house. You the man of the house while things are calm. But when stuff get real, and your last name ain't Holyfield, but when things get real, and if that woman get emotional on you, she might say, "Get out my house." Some of you men tell women to get out your house, but you don't supposed to do that. But I'm just telling you, it's advisable, brothers, you godly brother, to have yourself together. And you said, "Come live with me, or we get something together." Don't move in that woman's house. Cause if they get into it, one of those emotional things, you might hear those chilling word, "This my house." And you thought you the man how cause you start paying the mortgage and everything. Yeah, you moving her high. Go ahead and move in her high. Yep, she'll let you pay the mortgage and stuff. She'll let you pay all the bill. But when the stuff get real, but that's to each his own. That's just my advice. Rhonda said, "When and if we get married, I'm going to live with him." And I told my girl they could have the house. Good point, Rhonda. Because you still can make some money off that, Rhonda. Good point. Brothers and sisters, guess what? I hope that you all enjoyed the show tonight at the dinner table. I really appreciate you, brothers and sisters, getting some of this good soul food. Brothers and sisters, you just don't know I enjoy having soul food with my brothers and sisters. I really do. Those of you that on the book, those of you that on the tube, those of you that on the book, I would like for you to like and share if you don't mind. It won't cost you nothing. Those of you that are on the tube, if you're not a subscriber, hit that subscriber button, like and share. That's all you have. It's free. It's free. It's free. We're at the dinner table. And let me tell you this, my brother and sister. I look forward to talking to you all. I look forward to looking at y'all. We talking at the dinner table. You all make comments. I enjoy the engagement. I really do. And the other brothers and sisters, you all enjoy the engagement. And I'm going to tell you one thing that I like, my brothers. So let me tell you one thing I like. I like when we're at the dinner table and you listen to me, good. But I like this another thing I like. I like when some of you all make comments and I see the comment, and I like when you all engage with each other. Because we brothers and sisters. I like when you all just don't talk to me. I like when you all engage with one another, as long as we talk about what's the topic for the night. I don't want you all, when we talking about a topic, then you all start talking about what happened, at the mall and all that kind of stuff. Long as we on the topic, I don't mind you all engage with one another. We family. We family, brother and sister. Let me tell you, I really appreciate you all staying with me. I know I'll be talking long sometime, but I appreciate it. You didn't have to be here, but you took your time. And your time is valuable, my brother and sister. Thank you all for coming to the dinner table. As usual, take your carry-out plate, take it to some more of the family members, take it to some of your friends and share it with them and say, "Brother Tony, he had some good soul food. Don't you want to taste some of this? Taste some and see and let me know what you think." As a matter of fact, Tony be cooking on Sundays through Thursday. He cooks Sunday through Thursday. If he's not going to cook, he'll let us know. But Sunday through Thursday, he talks and he cooks. He cooks some good soul food because he get it straight from the Lord. You may not like everything he serve up, but he gonna serve it up. You know what I mean? He gonna serve it up. He gonna be straight with you. He doesn't side with women. He doesn't side with men. Now, sometimes he may focus more on one gender than the other, but what he serves up is basically to help couples. That's what he's about. I love you, brothers. I love you, sisters, and I'm about to depart. You all have a good night, okay? Peace out.